Hello again, and welcome back to the Bonus Level Podcast. This is level 24. I am Jack, and joined with me, as usual, Josh and Luch, for yet again another fabulous episode. How you guys doing?
Doing good.
Greetings.
It's always weird whenever I say that because one of you chooses to not say anything at all every time, no matter what.
I don't want to step over Josh's intro.
Yeah, but it's like very obvious after he says hello that you could then go. You know what I mean? It's like there's that nice little pause. Anyways, we have yes, absolutely. We have a great episode for you this evening. We're going to dive right back into the serious topics. And this one, instead of discussing ahead of time, we have had very little communication about it. And Josh and Luch both are going to be able to give you their true thoughts on the matter without any premeditation. And that's sometimes good and it's sometimes bad. So if anybody is speechless, exactly. And it's if some of us are speechless throughout the episode, that's why. It's because we're actually literally thinking of what to say on the spot and haven't thought about it before.
Talking about Lindsay Lohan, right?
Yes, and her parties at Mykonos and how she has a reality show now. And it's super weird. Anyways, speaking of Lindsay Lohan and social media, that's a nice little segue. Thank you.
This is off to a great start.
I posted a question on my Twitter and on my Instagram today about whether or not people think that social media does more harm than it does good. And I think it's a very interesting concept because the general answer that I received was, well, it depends on who's using it. And while that's obvious and true, it doesn't really give us a bearing on, well, do more people use it for bad or harmful things, or do more people use it for good and positive things? And so that's what we're here to debate, and that's what we're here to talk about. So just going down the line, Josh, what social media platforms do you use? Including all of them, every single one.
I think I use a lot, but I mean, I have Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter that I'm on frequently, as well as like Imager or Reddit, which I don't know how much of those would be.
Oh, they all count.
Okay. Then yeah, basically everything.
Okay, so but you don't use like Pinterest, right?
On occasion, I do.
Okay. Do you have a Pinterest account?
I do.
Okay, so you have a Pinterest account. I would say that counts for you using it. Yeah. What about like Tumblr?
Tumblr, I do not have a Tumblr.
Okay, no Tumblr. What about MySpace?
Hell yeah.
I am working on getting the page set up as we speak.
All right.
We're gonna
can I be in your top friends, or?
I don't even know how it works anymore.
That's your top 8
gotten
spaces,
that far.
Josh.
Top 8 spaces. Yeah.
Weird Al Yankovic.
Yeah.
No, I know how it used to be. I used to be pretty popular back in the day. But yeah, I have no idea like how the new page set up.
I didn't even think it was still a thing. I was just kidding.
No, it's still, you can still go to MySpace. I just haven't got my account for the Bonus Level Podcast set up yet.
Okay, well, we need to get that. So when Twitter goes down and Instagram goes down and Facebook goes down, we know where we can turn for our latest info. All right. So you pretty much use most of them. The only one you don't use is Tumblr.
Mm-hmm.
Am I missing one? Is there another major one? Snapchat. What about Snapchat?
Oh, no. I have one, but I do not use it ever.
Okay. And then like the dating apps and things like that also, I guess would count. No. Okay. Luch, what about you? Which ones do you have?
Well, as you both know, I'm a social media guru. I specialize in all types of social media. It's kind of hard to count how many social media accounts I do. You know, I'm one of the guys that have like 8 phones, and I'm constantly going through my social media. You know, I'm hitting that subscribe button. I'm liking. I'm tweeting, and I don't use social media. I'm quite illiterate when it comes to social media. I am probably the most inept at using any form of social media that my wife has to control my social media accounts. Not in like the bad way where she's like crazy and just tries to go in there and see everything. Like if she didn't use my like Facebook page, the Facebook page wouldn't exist like at all.
Yeah.
Like this guy's like, oh my God, Luch, I saw that cute picture of you and your wife at Disney World. I'm like, oh.
Where was that posted?
What picture?
Right.
Yeah. No, that's actually good though, because now we have somebody who barely uses social media and his opinion on social media itself, which one could say like, oh, well, if you don't use it, you can't really know. But at the same time, it's good to have an opinion outside looking in. But you do have profiles though. So you have a profile on Instagram, you have a profile on Twitter, you have a profile on Facebook. But you don't actively use other things like Reddit, Tumblr.
Oh, I love Reddit.
Like, okay, so that's the one you do use.
Yeah. If I was to say I use any of them, I love Reddit. I don't actually write anything. I just like to create.
You're a lurker, yeah, for sure.
I'm a lurker.
Okay, what about Snapchat and other? You don't use any of that stuff, right?
I only use Snapchat to look at the very provocative channels, but I try not to.
Yeah, buddy. Premium Snapchat.
It's okay. That's something that we can get into too later. Yeah.
Oh, does live cams, is that social media?
Yes.
Chatterbait.
What about YouTube? I mean, you guys both use YouTube. That's considered social media. Yeah, technically, because I mean, you have your profiles. You can post videos, vlogs, things like that. So technically, it is. You leave comments, likes, subscriptions. Is what you said.
Yeah. Subscribe to a lot of shitty channels. I mean, look at this one, the bonus level podcast.
I don't know, man. They're pretty consistent. They put out a video every single Wednesday.
Shout out to the guy who puts out that video every week.
Yeah, shout out to that guy. Thanks, Chives. Appreciate you. So me, I have a Twitter, I have an Instagram, I have a Snapchat that I don't use. I love Reddit. I do have a Pinterest account, but it's only because my mom sends me pins there and then complains when I don't look at them for a week. Tumblr, I have one, but never use it. What else? Obviously YouTube. I do not have a Facebook. I am 100% completely anti-Facebook. And I know you can say, well, if you have Instagram, you're pretty much buying into Facebook. That's sort of true, but I only use Instagram to try to build my photography business, really is all that I use it for. And then obviously the podcast Instagram. But I do not use Facebook. I will not use Facebook. I refuse. And then I think that's it as far as that goes. So now we got an outlying understanding of the social media pages that we all use.
Yep.
So just off the top of your head, without, what's your gut answer to the question? Does it do more harm than it does good? Yes or no?
Harm.
I think it depends on which page you're using.
Okay. All right. See, this is what I'm talking about.
Harm.
Well, because
I want a gut
all
answer.
These different ones.
Harm.
I want a gut answer.
Harm.
Thank you, Luch. Thank you, Luch. He goes with harm. Do you say harm or good?
I refuse to give you a harm or good.
You have to guess. You have to say, does it? Which is more?
Josh, which pussy?
Which does it weigh? Does it weigh more in the harm, or does it lean more to the good? Overall, all in a bucket. One big bucket of social media pages.
Big bucket.
If you had two buckets with every social media platform in each bucket, and one side of the level was bad shit and the other side was the good shit, which one would be heavier?
I would say that they would be flat even.
Flat even. So 50%. That is 100% a cop out.
You are so goddamn wishy-washy, Josh. If you were in the movie Saw, all right, and there were two buzzsaws, okay, and then there was hate or love, Josh, which buzzsaw will you cut it with? Because it's going to get cut up either way. Because I'm the Saw guy.
Make a decision there, but I'm saying you're talking about, what did we name? 8 different websites.
Mm-hmm.
And you're talking about a very wide range as far as what these websites can do. I think there is a lot of BS going on them. But I also, from like my and that's what the thing is, like, I feel like from my standpoint that I've been able to gather a lot of good from the
then
different
just say good. Then say
but
good.
I don't feel like it's that way because I see a lot of crap going on that I'm like, I don't know. So from my personal experience, I get good out of it.
Okay.
I'll leave it at that.
But that's you're an enigma. Okay.
Hey, we have another hour and a half to discuss why I feel this way. So,
But I'm
don't
saying is that you
pigeonhole me in the
can't.
first
But
5 minutes of the podcast.
that's why I asked for your gut reaction. You can change it. You can elaborate on it, but you can't just say, well, it's 50-50, or just say, well, from my point of view. I mean, if that's your opinion, if you think that it's more good comes out of it, then just go with the good. You can be the good guy, and we'll be the more harmful guy.
I don't know. Like I would say my gut's probably telling me the bad.
Okay.
Just
the gut
because
tells you the bad too.
And I think that's why I'm so torn, is because generally, like I said, I feel like I get a lot of good out of it. But at the same time, when you're saying gut, my gut's just bad. That I'm like, okay, I'm torn on it.
Social media will destroy the human race. And
I don't know. We'll see where we are at the end of the podcast, and if anyone has any different opinions, or if you guys understand where I'm coming from a little bit more.
Yeah. Okay. So now I kind of want to. So the gut feeling for all of us then, and I'm just going to make the clear cut call because you can't. The gut call is that it does more harm than it does good. So
Jack knows what's up. That's why he's the leader.
So my then question is, all right, so let's think of examples of the good things that come out of social media. So what do you like from your point of view and from your experience and you using the pages and what you see from other people as well as your own? What are some benefits? Like, what are the good things that come out of it?
Okay, would you like me to go through each individual app and tell you what I like about each one?
No. Just in general. Just things in general. First things that come to your mind that are good.
So the very first thing coming from Facebook specifically is my mom has 6 sisters. Her oldest sister had 7 kids who then that whole side of the family is so many people. It's just, I mean, when we do family reunions, the house would be full of like 200-300 people. It was ridiculous. That there's so many of them that before really social media was a thing, or even before I befriended a lot of them on Facebook or found them, I didn't talk to them. We saw each other maybe twice a year, once in the summer when we go like heading down to the beach because they're all in Florida. And then maybe another time for like a family reunion or Christmas or Thanksgiving, some kind of special holiday. Now with Facebook, I'm constantly seeing, their kids. I'm watching them grow up. I'm able to reach out when they have a birthday and send a message that I definitely didn't do in the years before social media. I did not take that step to make a phone call to them to keep track of their birthdays or anything like that. I have a very big extended family, and Facebook allows me to connect with a lot of them way, way better than I ever would be if I had to pick up a rotary phone and call somebody. Yeah. So that's my initial thing with at least Facebook. And I have
so family. So being able to keep up with family, extended family.
Yes.
Okay. Luch, what about you? What's one of the first things that you can think of that is a positive? I know you don't, like I said, I know you're looking at it from the outside, which is great. So like, what do you see as a positive?
Marketing.
Social media.
Business marketing.
And okay. And in what way is that positive?
Allows you to, it's free marketing, allows you to market your business in a way that you can do affordably and pretty effectively. Okay. And that's pretty much.
So just basically, free advertising.
Yeah.
Okay. So where does that turn into from a positive to a negative when we end up talking about, ad placement and them listening in to our conversations and giving us ads based on what we want?
I mean, it's not a negative thing for them.
Yeah, right. But it's negative for us, the ones that are using it.
I mean, we'll just get constant spam ads, but hey, I mean, for them, it's like, hey.
Right, but we're talking about what's a positive for you as a user.
Oh, for me?
Yeah, as a user of social media.
When I eventually own my multi-million-dollar business.
Free advertising, okay.
Free advertising.
Well, I mean, I would say that we've been using it pretty strongly to build the bonus level stuff. I mean, we've been trying to be active on, each social media other than Facebook. I don't even think we have a bonus level Facebook page, but everything else we have one that we've been trying to reach out, stay connected with our, our listeners and everything. And on occasion, we get some interactions and some feedback that I think would have been pretty hard before social media.
The only thing about social media is that it's too much a part of human society. Like, we keep going back to that Black Mirror episode where everybody's rating everybody.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's like I don't even want to think about what social media is going to be like in the next 10 days. Like, I don't want to feel I have to be forced to use it, kind of thing. I still think that human society will function a lot better without it. But
how would everybody know that I put out a new episode of the Bonus Level Podcast?
How did they not know that Jack is gearing up for Friday night on his Italian vacation, where he's going to go to Olive Garden and drink that new watermelon sangria?
How will they know that I'm traveling somewhere if I don't check in at the airport?
Why do you want to know? Why do you want people to know about your everyday life, though, is the thing?
There's an easy answer to that. It's called ego. It's called status. It's called keeping up with the status quo.
Damn, after you saying that makes me seem like I'm a pretty damn good human being then.
Maybe. No, I mean, that's now we're talking about the negatives of it. I want to stick on the positives for a little bit, though, because there are, there's no question that there are plenty of positives from social media. And, we're talking about the overall debate of whether or not there are more positives than negatives or vice versa, right? So obviously family is a big one. Keeping up with the family. Friends, you meet a lot of friends through social media. I mean, like Josh and I are the product of friends through social media, right?
Yeah, it's definitely a way to connect with someone that, let's say you're at a party, you bump into somebody and, back in the past, you would have lost a connection with them. All of a sudden, I'm like, oh, yeah, they're friends with Jack. Here they are on this. And it's like, hey, saw you the other day at this thing. Like, Ahmad, I bumped into him at your party, the Halloween party, I think it was, when I was down there and everything. And now he is like my best friend on Instagram that we always like each other's pictures all the time. And I watch him go to Disney World like on a daily basis.
I know, he's always there.
Right?
Shout out to that guy for abandoning Universal and going to Disney. Like a nerd.
But that kind of thing I think is really cool. Like I can 100% guarantee you that go back 15 years before we had social media, I would never have heard his name again or know where he's at or how he's doing or anything until like I made it back down there. So it is, it is neat for that kind of thing. And I think, where the rub comes with some people is I can tell you. So like Luch you both gave a perfect example of checking in at the airport and why do I need to know what this person's doing? I think the main problem is people have tried connecting to too many people. Because I can tell you that Joe Schmo over here, friend of a friend of a friend, I could give two shits what he is doing or what he's up to or anything like that. But I can tell you, Jack tells me, hey, I'm going to the airport. I want to know that. He posts on social media, I'm checking in at the airport. I'm hopping on my flight now. Cool. I wanted to know that information. Maybe I'm a creep. I don't know. But I like knowing that information because he's a good friend of mine. Same thing is when my brother goes to fly back to Korea on Friday. He's going to check in he probably won't check in at the airport, but I want to know it. And that's where I think the thing is, where if we were focused on more of a smaller group of people that we would go, hey, these are my actual friends. That's who I'm going to have on Facebook. You would actually care about more of the stuff that they're posting about.
Josh. People
no,
invite people onto their account for fucking no reason. Like you'll get an invite and be like, huh.
I know.
Well-known serial killer wants to add me as a friend.
I have 829 friends on Facebook.
And you know 3 of them.
I dislike 827 of them. No, it's not that many. But I mean, that was the thing. Like when I started working in real estate and photography and tried growing my business more through networking, I tried to network friends of friends of friends of friends of friends. I tried reaching out to and connecting with, hey, this is what I do. I'm with so-and-so, all these kind of things that I used it as more of a business thing. And so like now when I get on my Facebook and I see these people post things like going to Chili's tonight, it's like, I do not care. But I could tell you that same post, if Jack's like, going to Chili's tonight, I'm like, oh, you getting Southwestern egg rolls? Like, what are you doing? Like I care about that because he's my friend. And I think that's where the biggest thing of the annoyance on any kind of social media comes from, of like, why are you posting that stuff? It's like, well, it's not really for your eyes. You're just connected to this person for some silly reason. And that could be eliminated if you just were like, I mean, I've done this in the past before I was working in real estate. Like I would have like, I don't know, quarterly purges where I would go to and go, I don't like you. I don't like you. I don't like you. And I'd get my thing down to like 50 people. And I'm like, okay, I actually care what all 50 of these people are doing. Yeah. And even them, I didn't care about. It was just normally like, okay, these are some like close family members that if I delete them, we're going to have some awkward Thanksgiving or Christmas.
Why'd you delete me off of Facebook? I can't believe you.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. No, I mean, and I agree. I think that that is a problem of like it's overshare, but nowadays the apps, they between suggested friends and what's trending and all of this stuff, and like with Twitter even, like they tell you what your friends are liking and what your friends are retweeting, and like they suggest tweets for you to look at, and it's like all of this stuff that you end up seeing things that you don't care about or want to see anyway. Like I don't care to see every other tweet, so and so liked this tweet. Okay, maybe that pertains to me, but maybe it doesn't. If I really wanted to know, I would go to that person's page. You know what I mean? Like, so I think that it ends up just being like an overshare, not only on the person's part, but then on the app part too, because the social media apps are encouraging you to branch out and like find new people, follow more people. It's always suggesting, here's some people that you might want to follow. Here's some people that you might know. Like that.
I mean, that's the thing, because if we look at our, Discord, and I mean, we're getting up there with, how many people we have in there. But there's sometimes where our Discord, we may go a couple hours without any posts. And if Discord's wanting me to use it more, they're like, you need more people in there to boost up the activity or whatever, which of course we would like to. But, if Facebook were that way and they're just like, oh no, you're cool having like 10 friends, we're not going to try promoting that you get more, you're going to check it and go like, all right, no one's doing crap today. I guess I'm going to go look at my Instagram that has 500 people on it, because things are popping on there. Things are going, there's booty shaking.
No, our Discord's pretty popping.
Yeah, some of our
chats whenever we do have a slow period in the Discord, Josh has this thing that goes off in his head, like his Discord sense, where he has to post like 5 different memes.
Yeah.
At the same time.
Mm-hmm. It's good.
It's organically. It's not even to kill the dead silence. I'm just looking for something to do.
Yeah, but then like Scoop does the same thing. Like randomly he'll just like sneak in and just post like a Reddit post. Yeah.
He's on point with his Reddit post. I love him.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
He's always just sneaking one in.
It's not funny. Scoop anymore. It's now Diamond Dick.
Diamond Dick. Yeah. So as far as like more positives, right? So we have family, we have friends, meeting friends, right? What else? There's benefits in as far as like awareness, spreading awareness about things, charities, raising money for charities or for causes.
I would say that's actually been a really big one. That
like the trending, the trash tag was huge. That was like a wildfire thing. I mean, whenever tragedies happen as well, like it helps awareness. People know about it. People are talking about it. People are like thinking about it. It doesn't matter if you believe in like, thoughts and prayers or, it's condolences. Like, doesn't matter if the people, like the more people that know about it, the more people, can care. You're going to find people that are able to help, able to donate, like all kinds of things like that. There's so many positive causes that are helped, that are funded by social media. There are, those, the stupid, like the ice bucket challenge. I mean, people think that like those kind of things are cheesy because you have to like film it and post it. So like, is it really a good deed? But, those kinds of things raise money. They raise awareness for things that people don't normally like think about or to take into consideration on a daily basis. Right.
Yeah. I got two good examples of things. One was, I actually sent you the thing earlier today, was the group of New Zealanders doing the what was it called, the haka dance, where that one was like a super cool like inspirational
Yeah.
posts and everything. And then there's another one that I don't know if you saw that I retweeted today, where there is, I'm actually going to read this off for this person. So shout out to this person. Okay. So this was a post that I retweeted on Twitter earlier today. It's at select2d. And he says, "Hey guys, I'm finally at a place in my life where I can go to school again, hoping to find a scholarship, help me afford it better." And he says, what he's looking to do. So he, for people that don't know, esports, specifically League of Legends, has teamed up with some different colleges to actually get scholarships for different kids to play League of Legends in college, basically professionally. And so what he was looking to do was hoping to earn a scholarship by playing League of Legends. So he said likes and retweets appreciated. He said that he's a main supporter, adaptable champ pool, like all this kind of stuff. And it was like, that's actually really cool. Like I wanted to retweet that. I hope that our retweet, someone sees it and maybe it's not them, but they retweet it to someone else, that, some school picks this kid up because he's maybe gotten enough press, that he's able to go to college because of this. That's something that he's literally sitting there as a poor kid, or I don't know his complete financial situation, but he's wanting to go to college. He would like to be able to get some financial help for it. He's pretty good at League of Legends. And he's like, I'm going to put myself out there. Hey guys, can I get some help? And the community as a whole, Twitter is, pulling together from all different sides, mostly probably League of Legends fans,
Right.
are pulling together as a community going, hey, help this guy out. And nothing more than, he asked for it. I really don't know who this guy is. He could be a complete and utter dickhead. I don't know. I'm hoping that he's not. I probably should have done some research on it. But just as a whole, I think that that's something cool that social media is kind of bringing to our society.
Yeah. Agreed. I mean, and that also can go along with people trying, not just like kids for school and scholarships, but like jobs for, even for finding like lost pets, for tracking down people that have committed crimes. All kinds of things like that. So definitely, I guess, just as a whole, spreading awareness about things, whether it's charities, jobs, causes, crimes, lost, like I said, missing people. Yeah. It's that whole concept of like, I think it was in The Circle, and that was a creepy movie and not a good movie either, but where like one person is being looked for, and all of a sudden everybody has that person's face in front of them. Everybody around the world, they can just like it pops up. This person is missing. If you or wanted.
Oh, damn, I haven't seen that one.
If you see this person, turn them in, and it's like,
you tell them where I am.
Every person in the world that's connected to a social media now all of a sudden is looking for this person. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's like, oh my gosh, and then it's like, where do you hide? If every single person in the world has your face right in front of them, like, where do you go? Where do you hide?
Yeah.
And that's a good and a bad thing. But like at the same time, it definitely can be used for positive as far as that goes. And yeah, so is there anything else that we can think of like that doesn't fall into one of those categories for good?
Yeah, of course. We have movie trailers. That's if I ever go to a movie and there's a movie trailer I haven't seen, it blows my mind. I always sit down at every movie, and it's like the trailer comes up and you hear like the intro music. You're like, oh shit, Hellboy 2 coming up, like whatever it is.
It's actually a remake, Josh.
No, there was Hellboy 2. You're just too young to remember it.
Oh, I forgot you're 58.
63.
That kind of thing. I don't. Movie trailers are my jam. I love that kind of stuff. But then also,
Agreed.
it's especially, because I don't even feel like we've gotten to Reddit yet. Reddit is a whole monster in and of itself. So completely different than what Facebook is. Yeah, we haven't even talked about 4chan. If any of you guys had that, my brother walked by and mentioned that.
Yeah, no. 4chan is a no-go. That the entire site falls into the harm.
No,
category. The whole thing. Yes, you throw the whole thing into it.
Did you see when they took Shia LaBeouf's flag?
Yes.
That was one of the greatest things I've ever seen.
Yes, the entire website of 4chan. Shout out to you guys. You all go into the harmful side of things.
But no, I would say, like, I mean, especially like with Twitter, a lot of what I see, and if anyone follows the bonus, what are we at bonus LVL podcast, like our
On
podcast
Twitter?
or our Twitter, yeah, is fantastic. I mean, I'm normally it's generally stuff to do with topics that we talked about during the week. We got stuff with League of Legends or Apex or World of Warcraft, any kind of video game that we're interested in, different sporting things that we have going on. Then there's memes getting posted. So, I mean, there's all kinds of just different, I'd say just fun stuff that, definitely a lot of it could be just considered time wasting things, but there's a lot of news that is posted on. So, I mean, like news in general, I guess we could
Yeah.
go down that path because when's the last time you turn on TV to get news?
Right? I guess you don't.
No.
Because it's coming on the radio,
Yeah,
it's on your
I'm surprised-
newsfeed
I'm
and on
surprised
your
they're
phone.
still-
Oh, I get a text about something if it's anything important. Like, I never. It doesn't matter. I'm not turning on the news. Like, I'll go sit on my computer and Google and go, "What's going on here?" I'm not gonna wait till 5 o'clock to see what's happening on the
Yeah,
news.
exactly.
No,
I 100% agree.
Yeah, I think that's a big one. And with Instagram, we're booties.
Oh my
Where
God.
else are you gonna get your booties?
Get your booties. Again, like I said, I use Instagram for my photography page and boosting that.
And then booties.
Yeah, and when you got on your Instagram today, how many booties did you see?
A handful.
Yeah,
because it's just like it's inevitable.
Because
Can you
without
describe
those,
to
like
us
these
each
poor
booty that
girls
you
would be
see?
starving somewhere.
Well, yeah, there's somebody somewhere that's paying.
Yeah, they had to get their bills paid somehow. So
They have to get their bills paid somewhere. Yeah, somebody right now is Venmoing that girl cash because of that post.
Oh yeah.
All right, so all right, let's transition. Okay.
Yes.
Now let's talk about the bad shit. So we've piled up a good bulk amount, and I'm sure there's more. And I'm sure anybody listening, you can tweet us, you can email us, you can message us, you can text us. More good stuff that we didn't cover.
Yeah.
Right. Or then more bad stuff that we didn't cover here in a second. But let's transition into the bad stuff. Unless, as a final word, Luch, do you have anything else like that you can think of that's good?
Social media sucks.
Yes. Okay, perfect. That's what I thought you'd say. So let's transition into the bad stuff. Josh, what are some things right off the bat that you can think of that are harmful?
When I spend 15, 20 minutes on Facebook, I want to drown myself in the bathtub.
Why?
Just because like I said, I've connected with so many people of that category of I'm at the airport and going to Chili's tonight kind of people that I don't care about just for sake of networking. That's all I run into. And it's just like, it blows my mind. It gives nothing makes me have less hope for humanity than spending time on Facebook. Because at least with my Instagram, most of that is geared towards I have two accounts on there. One is my personal, that's my one that I have generally my closer friends, or I have some different bands that I follow, or band members, comedians, things like that. So it's very specific as to who I follow. I don't really follow anything on there that I don't like. If I don't like it, I'm not following it on there. So that one's very kind of tuned to myself. So that is much more enjoyable to me. But Facebook is the one where I have nearly 900 people that I followed that I don't know most of them. I'm trying to network with different people. There's people out of office, friend to friends, all this kind of stuff that it's just there's such a wide range of people that I really see some crazy dark stuff that
So your harmful point in that in Facebook is just the fact that you have to see people's stupidity, right? So is that necessarily harmful though? Is that just a downside to social media?
No, it's because I kind of with it I see a lot of the what you guys are talking about, that need to feed a person's own ego, where I see people, either the whole term thirsty, people just posting things just like, please, like posting a
Just for
picture,
attention.
May delete later, feeling cute or whatever it was, or, this is a terrible picture of me. I can't believe I'm posting this. Meanwhile, like, it's professionally taken, or something stupid. And it's just, you could tell that they're just begging for something. And I don't know, you could just see that doesn't look healthy. Like, I think we would all agree that someone posting stuff like that can't be healthy for your psyche.
Yeah. No, it's not. And it's a very self-serving. Social media is very self-serving just in general. Like, it's very selfish. It's very egotistical. It's very
easy to say something when you're behind a computer.
It is. It's very easy. I mean, that's a whole different downside. It's a whole different harm topic.
Let's have a discussion here,
harassment.
I got my gun locked and loaded.
Yeah, let's go. Let's talk about it.
Let's have a real discussion about how social media will be the downfall of human society.
Please unload the Duchess on me here.
Single thing post could literally ruin someone's life in seconds, right? Like for instance, someone does something bad. Let's say Jack, you're out and about, and you say something as a joke, right? Mm-hmm. And you offended someone, okay? And then they shove their camera in your face, and then they're like, "Can you believe this guy? He said the N-word. This guy said the N-word."
Which I would never do, by the way.
Suddenly you're posted. I know you didn't do. I'm just trying to make it simple. And all of a sudden you're posted all over Facebook. You have 1,000,001 comments. You're trending on Twitter of you misogynistic douchebag that decided to offend an entire race by saying this one word.
Right.
Like the amount of power you have with that someone can literally post something that could ruin your life in a day is terrifying.
And that's definitely, in my opinion, a very double-edged sword, because in one way, if someone's doing something that's fucked up or it's mean or it's rude or whatever, then I feel like that they should be punished. But at the same time, there should always be a road to redemption for certain people, where sometimes we see that someone makes an off-color joke. And what's that?
It has nothing to do with like a road to redemption. More people use social media to do harm than good nowadays. Even if they don't necessarily mean it, they use it to fuel their own fucking crusade that they try to fight against. I mean, you got all kinds of shit going on nowadays. And then, like, for instance, like, criminals, if they did something bad, they deserve to go to jail. But I still don't feel like, there's news, and stuff like that. But, you got videos of like, a guy gets arrested for pot, right? Mm-hmm. And then he resists arrest. And then he did something stupid and maybe he got tased or something, right? Mm-hmm. And then it gets put on a video, gets put on YouTube, gets put on Facebook, right? And then it starts trending, and then it's got 1 million hits, and then people are making fun of this guy to the point where he commits suicide.
Yeah.
Well, there's a certain boundary of privacy that social media. Like, you remember when it was like, "Oh, you can't record me. It's against the law. I'm going to sue you if you post." Does that law even exist anymore?
Forget about No, it can't. Yeah. And I'm not in public space, at least. I mean, but that's the thing, though, right? Like, there's so many things in the news that we see every single day that something's coming out with social media, that this person said this 20 years ago and now they found it. Like James Gunn getting fired from, Disney because, he made off-color jokes at one point on Twitter, and somebody found them and dug them up, and it literally cost him his job, directing some of the biggest films of cinematic history. And it's like, Okay. So, but then, now you have 6 months later, he's back and they rehired him because it's like, okay, we can't let Twitter control.
Can we take a moment
Exactly.
of
And
silence for that? Oh my God.
You know
I am so excited he's back.
Social media gives people too much of a voice, and it's literally poisoning the youth.
It is.
Like, I'm sorry, that's what it is. It gives them too much of an opinion of themselves, and it gives them too much of a voice to literally voice that opinion.
I think the second half of what you just said is the more harmful thing. It's not so much that we're giving them the voice, because everybody needs to know that their individualistic voice needs to be heard. Because yes, free speech it's a huge thing. You need to know 100%. That like how you feel can be valid, and you have the right to go exclaim it and debate it and have your point of view. But the fact that we give people the free speech with no consequence, and we talked about this a long time ago too, and I think that's the second part is really the harmful thing. It's not that we're giving them a voice; it's that we're giving them a voice and a platform with no consequence. And it doesn't matter if your opinion is wrong or if your point of view is wrong, if it's skewed. Some of the most hateful things that have ever been said in the history of the world have been said on social media because there are no consequences to those words. And we talked about it again early on in the podcast. I don't even remember what level it was at this point, but we talked about how, if it was up to non-social media and we had to face say the things that we say to each other, 90% of what we say in anger would not be said. It just wouldn't happen. And you would not say it such as somebody's face.
And to kind of give an idea of like how stupid and powerful social media is, the Cash Me Outside girl, right?
Mm-hmm.
What background did she come from? And then all of a sudden, one single meme, and video.
Now she's a millionaire.
And now she's a millionaire.
Mm-hmm.
A terrible singing millionaire at that.
Well, that's that's the internet in general. Just trends, whether they are good, whether they are bad, can be powerful when they're online. And because that's the thing. Like, if we really had to sit down and hash it out, it would take a very long time, because the internet's been around for a while, for us to really go through how many bad trends there have been, how many good trends there have been. I would probably say at the end of the day, just guessing, and it could be biased, that you guys are right, that it does fall more on the bad side of things, that we see more bad, stupid trends of people dancing outside their 100%. Cars, eating Tide Pods, whatever it may be, that it's like, oh my God, when are these? I
blame social media for because you watch those videos of freaking police officer walks up to a car and be like, hey, how are you doing today? Hey, can I have your license and registration, please?
Mm-hmm.
No, I don't need to give you my license. In fact, I'm recording you right now. What are you going to do? What do you want to do about it? Sir, I just need to see your license, please. No. Step out of the side for me, sir. No, I don't have to. By the way, you're being recorded. And then the guy gets shot.
Well, that we're talking like a whole big legal issue as far as...
No, that's social media at work, though. Like, the kid thinks he's got enough power to do that because he thinks threatening the cop by posting a video of him on social media to ruin it is going to make much of a difference.
Yeah, unfortunately, the viral thing is to just witch hunt everything, no matter what it is, without the facts. Try to use it
as a weapon.
So there's a thing trending today. I think his name is Shane.
That's
Dawson.
A great term for that, by the way, Jack. Witch hunt. I like that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And that's all it is too. There's something trending today or yesterday. I don't know if you guys saw on social media, this Shane Dawson thing. He's a content creator.
Yeah.
I don't know who he is, but I didn't really look into it as further than reading his string of apology tweets or whatever. But apparently he made he's been making or was known to make some off color insensitive jokes in the past, and then he made some joke or said some sort of story about his cat and blah blah, so something insensitive, right?
Yeah.
And obviously that got taken way out of proportion as if he was serious, and now all of a sudden there's all this backlash, yada yada yada, and he had to apologize for it. But the point is that as soon as it catches fire, as soon as that match is lit under something that's bad or viral, it is almost impossible to come back from. There's already today, and the trend just started. I don't know if it was last night or it's this morning, but the trend just started. There's already memes about it, about this guy and his cat. Like he already is like posted the actual, the context of what it was, and that he's, he should have been more, thoughtful of how he went about it, and blah, 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 all this, whatever. And whether the guy is a good guy or a bad guy, it doesn't matter. I don't know him. But the point is that whole scenario is now wildfire, and now this guy has a witch hunt after him. He's not going to get anywhere near the support that he got before, because all anybody is going to view him as is this one incident, this joke.
Like no one says an insensitive joke in their life before.
Well, and that's just the thing, is that it's, a million people say the same exact story, but the wrong person catches wind and retweets it, or makes a big deal about it, or posts it and sends it to the news or whatever it might be, and then it's over. Your career's over.
The only thing I want to know is, why do they care? Like what? Like I don't.
All it is the mob mentality. Social media's mob mentality is some of the most ridiculous. Like it actually like it will make your brain hurt if you read comments, if you read threaded comments from people that like jump on other people's thing. If like Reddit's a good example for this, and like a lot of the subreddits, yeah, you just can't read comments for posts, because like you go in there and you see somebody's comment, and somebody will post a ill-informed, not true comment, and then somebody else is under it like, yeah, he totally does that, and then somebody under him is like, oh my god, yeah, I can't believe he's like that, and then it's like the comment under that is, oh my gosh, I used to support this guy, but now that I know that, hell no, I'm not supporting him, screw him. And it's like, and then it's just boom, 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 all the way down. And all it did was it started with one person shouting with a voice louder than everybody else, saying some untrue stuff, and all of a sudden, huge following of like, oh, bandwagon mob mentality, get out our pitchforks, and we're going after this guy. It doesn't matter if the information is true. I mean, marriages have been ruined over this kind of stuff. With false information, with false pictures, with oh, that's so and so with this actress, blah blah blah. We saw them doing this or whatever, whatever it might be. Yeah. Social media and the mob mentality.
That's just what it is.
Like, the witch hunting is so bad when it comes to that, because I don't say everybody, 80% of the people that make up the social media bases are people that have no business having a platform to speak or think on.
Yeah.
And that's going to sound very insensitive, but it's the same. I view it in the same way as I view the people that drive on the street. 80% of you don't deserve to have your license.
Yeah.
And why I know that? Because I watch you drive every single day. And I know for a fact that most of you would not pass a test if you had to take it again. And that's just the facts. And so those same people, not only are they driving on the road without proper training, and they shouldn't have a license, they also have a Facebook, they also have a Twitter, they also have accounts on Instagram and YouTube and Reddit. And these are the people that are making up the mobs and the witch hunts. That no matter what somebody says, they believe it without question, without doing their own research, and that's that, and that's it.
Yeah.
And it's unfortunate, but that is the reality. Yeah. So we can stack up all of these goods, right? And this is kind of where I'm getting at. We can stack up all of these goods, connecting with friends, connecting with family, raising awareness for causes. All of those things you can do without social media, but the witch hunting, right? And the mobs and all of this is the same way.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you this. Another one of the main issues is, Josh, if you how old's your oldest kid?
He is 9.
9. Tell me, what's the age that you have to be to set up any kind of social media account?
That's a good question. I do not. You could do it.
I want to make it easy for you. It's 18. You have to be 18 years or older to make a social media account.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming then that everybody's following the laws and that.
Oh, no, not whatsoever.
Yeah,
and that was going to be something that I brought up was age. Because I was going to say, like, if you go to I'll give everybody my grandma's Facebook page. If you go to that, it's going to be the most wholesome, nice, cute little thing that you've ever seen, where all she does is post on pictures. These are the cutest pictures that I've ever seen, and can't wait for you guys to come and visit. That's literally what she's posting on there. Where then if you switch over and go to like an 18-year-old or 15-year-olds, Facebook or something like that, that it's a completely different matter, that the kind of stuff that they're talking about is different. That, I mean, I feel like so much, and I mean, I don't know. I haven't looked at the research. I haven't done the research. This is all based off of what I feel like that I've seen, but it's just that there's so many younger kids that were not prepared to have social media in their life. I mean, think about the fact of like with us, like I even to this day go, thank God that I don't believe in. There was no social media around when I was in high school or college or whatever. Like I did so much stupid shit. So much. So much that I see these kids posting the same kind of things that I'm like, oh shit, I did that. And now it has 3.5 million views. And it's like, thank God no one videotaped me doing that, because here I am trying to be a dad and, a businessman, like a gentleman, like whatever, like trying to get through life as an adult. I don't need 3.5 million views of me doing this stupid thing out there on the internet somewhere, that when you Google my name, instead of it showing up, hey, here's Josh, the photographer and the realtor, that here's Josh that, did so-and-so and so-and-so, like, that it's just crazy. Like these kids were not prepared for this. And I think that it just kind of snuck up on people so fast that parents, they didn't see the harm in it when they let them on it. And now it's gone. It's catapulted past it. Like see, for me, like I can see this kind of stuff where like my kids are 7 and 9. Like they have their YouTube channels that we post their videos of them playing video games. I do not let them read comments. And of course, if there is anything on there that's off color, it gets deleted instantly. They don't have Facebook or Instagram or Twitter or any of that kind of stuff. I'm sure it's going to be soon that they're going to start asking for it. And we're going to have some long conversations before we get into anything like that.
Sure.
But I think it was 5-10 years ago, before things progressed to the point that they were at now, the parents are like, oh yeah, you want to have a Facebook? That's fine. You can get to see like what your sister's doing or what your older brother who's off at college now, you can kind of keep up with him and stuff. And then all of a sudden it turned to like this fucking shit show. And they're like, oh my God, I didn't realize that my, 16-year-old was sending pictures of his dicks to 15-year-olds. And now they're both getting arrested for pedophilia.
Right, exactly.
Like it's, like, who on earth would have thought that it would have progressed to that in just this short amount of time? Like,
because there's no restrictions. Like there's like, you must be 18 years or older to sign up in the bottom of the page in a tiny little checkbox that is
and you can just hit
legible.
yes, and it doesn't matter. Like it's not like they can verify it.
Yeah, no, if upload your ID, upload your driver's license,
something
photo.
That's what we were saying before. Like if it actually took, if you had to register your ID, with your social media pages, so you could only have one. It was tied back to you. It was tied, maybe the creators of it only had your info, but like if there was ever an issue, it would go right back to you. They would know who it was that said it, who did it. They could find you. Like it just
like I work for a cell phone company, right? And Facebook nowadays, you can use Facebook message, you can call, you can do anything you need to be. But in order to sign up for a cell phone, which is past technology, you got to have, your credit checked, you got to have your license, you got to have all this stuff. But Facebook and social media is so much more of a powerful tool than a cell phone can ever be.
Okay, but hold on, let's take one step back here. Let's all take a deep breath and think about this for a second. So, because what we're getting on right now is kids under the age of 18 using social media and being little cunts about it. If you're under 18, you have a parent. Well, hopefully, if you're over 18, you still have a parent. But
let's be real, Josh. That'll hardly that a parent will hardly ever stop that. Well, even if the parent was good enough to try to stop them.
Blaming this on social media, when in reality, social media, yes, is giving an avenue for this stuff to happen. But do you really think that this person is any less of a shit if you take them off of social media?
No, they're
absolutely
they're that
not.
way
But at
in
least
real
they
life.
can bring their toxicity to a level where it can be, checked.
Dealt with.
Like for instance, like a parent can control your social media. You can change your name.
Oh,
You can do whatever
exactly.
you
So,
want
I
on
mean,
that social
there's
media.
definitely
Well,
some.
hold on, Josh.
Mm,
That parent, I can't blame that parent for it. If that parent didn't want him on social media, they see him on social media, they kick it off. Kids nowadays, they can get. I mean, even you, like
They'll just make another
back in the
account.
day, did you follow your parents' rules all the time? No, you were able to
no.
find it out. And at that time, our generation, we were a lot, technologically inclined than our parents were, and we were able to find a way to log in somewhere else. Like it's not that you can't stop it. Like it's not
No,
schools nowadays. You could just
well,
sign in.
exactly. But I'm saying that there are, when we're talking about what these kids are doing online, there is a large range of what we're talking about. I mean, we're talking about kids doing. I mean, yes, I did dumb stuff in back before social media, back in high school. I mean, I did you know I still do dumb stuff, yes. But at the same time, I mean, we're talking about varying degrees of things. And I think, some of the worst stuff, and I mean, I would like to get your, a full explanation on it, but I think a lot of what we're talking about is, stuff of this witch hunting, this cyberbullying, pushing people to
It's all
suicide.
done
And
mainly by underage people.
so with that kind of thing, I'm not even talking about parents, you know, helicopter parents and watching their kids and making sure they're not saying, like, you should have a conversation with your kid about not being a dick to other people, like
It's not going to
showing other
stop them.
people respect. Like I said, I understand that Facebook or just social media in general gives kids a fast lane of access to shitting on other people constantly. Like, I
Josh,
understand that, and I'm not arguing about that. But at the
Josh,
same time, there is a big difference between just a teenager being a teenager and doing dumb stuff, sneaking out of the house, going and making out with chicks in the back of a
they don't do that
Publix
anymore.
parking lot,
That
compared
doesn't happen
to,
anymore.
you
Now it's
know,
sexting.
yeah, or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, so
It
even
gives
if
them access to
they're
do
maybe
that
doing
kind of stuff. Social
sexting
media
and
is
stuff like that.
110% to blame. And it's 100% their fault. How many percent do you think Facebook is 18 and under? Guarantee you it's at least 40%.
Like I said,
At
I
least.
understand that there's a highway there, but
What
at
do you think, Jack?
the same time,
Maybe not 40%.
I think at least 40%. And you know what? And they're not doing anything to stop it because that's where their money comes from. It's like cigarettes. Like,
okay,
I'm not going to lie. It's
but we
like
have to
cigarettes. Hold
define
on,
what's
Josh, hold on,
actually
Josh.
bad.
Let me
Like, what's
finish,
wrong
let me
with these
finish.
kids sexting?
Let me finish.
Hold on, Luch. He let him finish first
Well,
because he was talking. Then you
before,
no. It's fine. Let him
Just in
finish.
general, because like I said, there's such a wide range of things that they could do, and so I'm talking about parents teaching their kids not to bully and be mean to other people, and then you bring it over to sexting, and I'm saying, well, what's wrong with sexting?
Well, when it's a 13-year-old and an 18-year-old or a 20-year-old,
then we're getting into major issues and stuff.
Then we're
like
getting into
that.
major issues. I never said the age group that's going on with it.
Mm-hmm.
You're misunderstanding me. But anybody can easily pose as an underage person and talk to another underage person, but you don't know
That's where
that.
Chris Hansen comes in.
And then you're going to
Chris Hansen
be
or
like,
a parent. This is a conversation before my kids ever create a social media account, that I have to have these conversations, because this has grown to a point where it's like, it's a weird thing that this was stuff that I did not think about until I became a parent. But there are certain things that you have to have these conversations about before you get to that point. One of the biggest examples that I can give on that, and this one, hopefully I'm not sharing too much information, and I'll try to kind of keep things vague. But there was a point where I had a conversation with a family member about that I wanted to kind of take another family member and show them, introduce them to alcohol, basically, which now seems like such a, easygoing kind of thing compared to all the other crap that we have to look at. And they were like, oh, no, there's no reason to do that because that would never happen. This person's not interested in that. Like, they're years before they're able to drink or anything. And it's like, yeah, but I'd still like, me being of legal age, I'd like to be able to, almost kind of parent them into it, because I didn't have anyone do that with me. And I about ended up in the hospital the very first night that I drank because I had no idea what I was doing. And they're like, no, we don't need to worry about that. And it was, I think this same day I had a conversation with that person. I go, I taught them. They're like, oh, it doesn't matter. I had something the weekend before. And it's like, oh, well, now you're beating everybody at this game. Like it's crazy how, parents tend to think I don't have to start having that conversation yet because we haven't gotten into that. Where when it comes to social media, that you have to expect the unexpected. You have to start preparing. I mean, I'm already like, my kid is 9 and the youngest one is 7. And I'm already starting to go like, how on earth am I going to start talking about the birds and the bees with them? And
Josh, like all of that. I was trying to get to you before you divulge too much from it. But what I'm trying to say though, is there's always going to be curiosity. And as the years go on, as generations get, younger and younger, their curiosity for some reason gets, shrinks with them in terms of the age group. Like it gets younger and younger. Social media, anybody can pose as anybody, like even a cell phone, right? You have to at least know that person in order to get their number, unless you're dumb enough to put your number on Facebook. Then that's an even worse nightmare.
Yeah.
All right. But and like you're like trying to say about having to talk with the kids and stuff like that, but they're going to have that curiosity, and social media gives them unlimited access to explore their curiosity, and it will never end in a good way.
Oh, and that's the thing. I'm not arguing with you there. Like I said, it is a instant highway to as much crap. I mean, because I've brought up, and I would love to get all of our listeners' opinions on the fact of us discussing what porn has changed into over the past couple of years. Just with the internet in general being able to give us access to that.
Save that for another level.
Yeah.
It's the same kind of thing. No, but it's the same thing. Like, I understand that things have progressed to a point that is insane, but at the same point, I don't think that and I feel this way as a parent, that I don't think that I could just step back and go, well, Facebook and Instagram, they've fucked the kids, so like I can't do anything about it. Like, I still have to do the best that I can.
Of course.
But it is
social media's fault. They do nothing to enhance their restriction rules. The only social media that has gotten in trouble the most has been TikTok, and that hasn't even existed for a year yet.
Oh, what does that have? I don't know anything about that.
TikTok was you had to be 18 years or older, but anybody could go through. So you had, kids ranging from like 8 to like and so many predators on that thing.
Yeah,
doing these dumb videos
of kids.
Yeah, and TikTok got in a huge amount of trouble for that. But Facebook, Snapchat, they do the same thing.
Yeah.
They're just not as personal with it. There's not as many videos going on with it, but it's the same thing. Those predators can still get in contact with the kid just as easy.
I mean, but I think at the end of the day, though, I think and I agree with what Josh is saying, that while it might be the root of the issue is social media, and if it just wasn't around, we wouldn't have this problem. I mean, there's sexual predators still existed before social media. These threats, these conversations still had to happen. Now we see it to a more extreme because there's a magnifying glass because of social media. And it's funny because we're looking at these issues of social media on social media. Like, it's being shared. It's like, oh, this person, there's a sexual predator that was using TikTok to pick up children, and we're watching this video on Twitter. It's like, okay,
Facebook,
so it's exactly. So we're using social media, the sites, to view the problems of social media. But like, if you look back 50 years, you had to have your conversation with your kid about I remember my parents, 20 years ago, they saying, if don't talk to strangers on your way to school. If somebody comes up to you that you don't know, don't talk to them. Don't stop for them. Don't go anywhere with them. If they ask you to take you somewhere and I didn't tell you to, you don't go with them. Those are the conversations that we had to have because, as a kid, you're naive, you're trusting. If somebody comes up to you and says, 100%. Some strange man walks up to me and goes, your mommy's in a lot of trouble. She's hurt. You have to come with me. I'm going with this guy. Like, what do you mean my mom's in trouble? You know what I mean? So like, we had to have that conversation ahead of time. Whereas now, you might be told that as a kid, like, don't talk to strangers, ha ha ha. But like, the real threat comes into the guy that's, hey, I saw you in math class the other day, blah blah blah. I'm Jimmy. I'm new in town.
Yeah.
What's blah blah blah. We should go out and play. I live right down the street from you. You want to come out and play with me? And then it's some 40-year-old guy in a van, and he picks up the kid. It's like those are the threats come through means that shouldn't exist because of social media. Like there's just no reason for it. A site like an app like
exactly,
TikTok,
and they could easily stop it. They could easily stop it, but that's how they make money. Like Facebook's still a business. It's still a multi-billion-dollar business because of the amount of people that are on Facebook. Right. And again, I still think it's 40, if not higher. Those are under the age of 18. And
maybe not on Facebook. I would think on maybe other sites, maybe, but not on Facebook.
Maybe other sites, a lot of other sites. But everybody supports social media. Schools nowadays, you now do Facebook, one-on-ones with your teacher to ask a question.
Just social media in general has just grown to the point where it's like, if you can't beat them, you have to join them. That's what it's turned into. That, I mean, trust me, there is plenty of time that I spent fighting it. But it's like, at the end of the day, when you need to get something done, what other options do you have?
I mean, you function 100% fine without social media.
And that
you do, and that's the thing, and you can, and that's what I was saying before about and I think I worded it wrong, but all of the things that you label as positives for social media, the friends, the family, the causes, those were all done long before.
Yes.
You had family reunions, you sent letters, you talked on the phone, you met up for dinner, you had the family sit down dinner, the whole family was together at night, people's faces weren't in their cell phone at all times, eating, you couldn't go people, it would have been so odd if people said oh, wait, you have the TV on while you eat. Oh, your whole family doesn't eat around a table. All of these things, right? They're considered old fashioned now. But the point is that before social media, all of those things happened. Meeting friends, knowing about family, staying in touch, supporting causes, rallying, Martin Luther King and I Had a Dream and him, rallying all of these people behind his cause. That wasn't done online. That wasn't done over the internet. That was a huge movement that all of these people were a part of, that watched him give that speech live. They went there and saw it.
Yes.
And while we might have a video of it, somebody taping it, it wasn't broadcast live in everybody's home. TV. I mean, maybe it was on TV, or maybe it was before TV. I don't remember. I don't know the date.
But you had.
But the point is there. Yeah, the point is there. And nowadays, it's we were like, oh well, now I can do all this, and yes, you can do it to a greater extent and to more extreme, but at what cost? All of the things that are harmful about social media wouldn't exist if social media didn't exist. Exactly. Cyberbullying, online predators, just all of the
organizations that don't deserve to exist.
Yeah, hate speech, terrible advertisements, greedy companies.
How do you have a internet without some sort of communication between people that are using the internet? And I mean, and we've even gone to say that Reddit's
a news site. If you take away the comments, and just leave it as the upvote downvote system, where's the negative in that?
No, that's what I'm saying. I mean, because that's what I'm saying. If you take away everything, there's still, I don't know, I feel like there's so much interaction. That's what online has given us the chance to do, is send things back and forth, to interact with other people, whether they be your neighbors or other people in your state or other people in other countries.
It doesn't have to be a public forum. The thing is, it doesn't have to be a public forum. The internet can be used for all those benefits, for spreading around causes, for spreading around, funny and informative news stories, videos, things like that, on places like sites like communals like Discord. Discord is a great example of a perfect social media. You invite the people that you want to chat with, that you want to share things with, that you want to connect with, into a server, into a channel, and everybody's there, and everybody is of one common goal, interest. And if somebody's there that you don't like, that you don't want in, you kick them out. And it's like, that's your community.
I think that's the same thing that Facebook and Instagram is. We just let more people in on those other networks.
That's true.
I mean,
But
because
also,
honestly,
but
if
those,
I only had my Facebook was only the people in my Discord, then it would look the same, and I think I would have just as much fun with it.
It
But the
just
fact
it,
is, on my
it
Facebook, I allow
but
in a
that's the
lot
thing is that
more.
it doesn't start. It doesn't start as like maybe Facebook kind of does because you have to accept friend requests. But like Twitter is public, unless you keep all your stuff private. Twitter is public, Instagram is public. Anybody can look at your stuff, right? So like you really have to either lock it down or it's open forum.
why the only thing that really baffles me, like Reddit, right? I haven't seen too many things where people put their personal information on Reddit,
Right.
right? Facebook, you can put down your address, you can put down your
everything.
phone number, you can put down your job.
Well,
You
that's
can
also because you have to accept a
everything.
friend request. You have to like let people into your info.
But still, though, people don't have a filter for that.
No.
A lot of people
Facebook,
just
they
do it
don't
to get
care.
the friends count.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, it just, I don't know. It's like,
No.
it just baffles me why it's like this nowadays.
No, it's desensitization of the entire population because, like we said before, in previous episodes, there's the anonymity. There's no consequences. You can say what you want. You can be who you want. You can flex, as it were. You can do whatever you want, and there's no consequence. Whereas before, if so, like say I buy something new, right? If I was buying it for myself because I loved it and I didn't have social media, I would buy it. I would use it. It would be awesome. I would share it with people that like came to my house or like that I was going somewhere with and be like, oh, look at this new carriage I got for my horse, Josh. And I'm like traveling over to your house and you'd be like, oh, dope. Look at that horse. It's awesome. What a great workhorse. This is going to be really beneficial for you. And like nowadays I'm like, look at my new whip. And I post it on Instagram and Twitter and everybody's like, oh man, that's sweet. How much you pay for that? Oh, he's flexing, so it's like, did I buy the car because I needed it? Or did I buy this like sweet ass car because I wanted to show off and be like, look at this, look at the money I got. You know what I mean? So like everything is done with the wrong intentions. It's not done, genuinely or anything like that. It's done because like, oh, well, I'm going to post this. I'm going to do this and I'm going to post it. Right?
Yeah.
I can't have a good moment if I don't post it, and then social media, we didn't even get into the harm that it does for relationships. Yeah. I mean, just in general, it's terrible. I mean, it proponents like jealousy. It promotes, all sorts of things like that. It's a huge factor for issues that don't need to be issues. If social media didn't exist, things that popped up because of social media would never be fights, would never be arguments, would never be a point of contention for anybody.
Yeah.
Right. Because you met, maybe you met, you like each other, you spend time together. Nobody else needs to know. Nobody, like, and the people that know are your friends. They know because they're your friends, they're your family. You don't need to flex for the internet, for viewers, for, oh, hey, look at me, look how happy I am. Like, why? What's the point? It's not for you. It's not for me. Right. And so I think at the end of the day, like ultimately, all of these things that are such harmful and negative things about social media they just wouldn't exist. We wouldn't have like the witch hunting, the mob mentality, because there's no public forum. If I don't like the way Josh is, cutting his grass, I'm not going to go on Facebook because Facebook doesn't exist. If I don't like the way, he's doing things as my neighbor, I have one option or two options. I either deal with it or I go talk to Josh face to face.
Yeah.
And we hash it out, and either nothing gets resolved or we have an adult conversation and he's like, yeah, you're right. I shouldn't cut my grass at 8:00 in the morning when you're sleeping. That's rude. I should at least wait until 9:30. Like, but if that's nowadays, I go on Facebook and I go to my communities group and I go, such and such post, he's cutting his grass at 8:00 in the morning. It's absolutely ridiculous. Everybody get your pitchforks. We need to boycott, his parties every month. And it's like, why? Just have a conversation with the guy. Just like talk to him and tell him, this is how I feel. Let's work it out. But that's not the way things work today because we have this superiority complex. And we're just like, oh, well, look at me. I have 100 followers. You only have 10. I bet I can get my followers to bully you into stopping doing what you're doing.
So I understand what you're saying, and I agree with like 100% of it. Where my main issue on figuring out where to go from here comes from is that whole thing of, where do we go from here? I mean, because it sounds like from you and Luch's standpoint that if you could, that instantly you would do away with Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Reddit, all those, that you would just get rid of any way for us to communicate with each other because we have proven that we don't deserve it. And
we deserve the right to communicate with family and loved ones. There's nothing wrong with texting, nothing wrong with calling.
Well, so I mean, because kind of where I'm going from here is I just at my core am a very legalize and regulate kind of person, where I don't care what the issue is, whether it's been drugs or prostitution or drinking or whatever it may be, that I don't want someone else telling me what I can and can't do because of other people ruining the experience. Like, I don't want people telling me that I can't have a glass of rum and Coke right now, because they think that people can't handle their alcohol because too many people have done stupid stuff on that, and therefore alcohol should be banned. That's what happened 100 years ago. And they banned alcohol because
prohibition.
I mean, that was the whole thing, is there were a group of people that said this should not happen, so we're doing away with it because these people can't behave themselves. And so my personal feelings when it comes to something like this, and what I feel like things are getting to, is it's like, you guys are just losing your privileges because you're acting like a bunch of asshats. And I understand, because I feel that same way. But at the same time, it's like, I don't ever want someone else tell me what I can and can't do. I feel like I'm an adult able to make reasonable decisions. I don't want someone else telling me that I can't use Facebook just because Joe Smo down the street can't handle his
I don't want to take that choice away from you. I just think we should take the app away. Get rid of it, and there's no choice to make.
It doesn't even matter about like the app. It just needs to be regulated. There's 100% freedom with social media.
And on this, I agree more with Luch than I do with you, Jack, because I understand what you're saying, that it's a Wild West and crazy ass stuff going on there. But I agree with Luch in the fact that regulation could have a lot to help with this kind of stuff. That yes, there's a lot of pressure on parents at this point. It's like I said, me as a parent, I understand a lot of this, and I'm trying to have these conversations with my kids to make sure that they don't end up being, twats when they get their own Facebook page or whatever. But at the same time, like, it would be nice to be able to have some kind of security and background, stuff, firewalls, guards set up from these sites themselves to help me protect my children, because I can only do so much.
All right, I'm going to invent an app that you install on your kid's cell phone when they get one. So when they get social media, and anytime they go to post something, whether it's a tweet, a picture, a comment,
that already exists.
It sends it to you first. Sends it to you first to approve.
Dude, that kind of stuff already exists. And that's the thing but that also leads into a whole other category of how much, like, does my kid want them, me spying on them? Like, or
first of all, if they're not 18, and they live with you, they have no rights.
Yeah. Yeah. Josh, if your kid comes to you and tell them, be like, I can't believe that you're monitoring me right now. Right. And they're 13. I can't believe that you're doing this to me right now. You're ruining my life. How dare you do this to me? I am a human being. I know my rights. I'm going to call the police on you.
And then you say, you have no rights, sir.
No. If they are smart like their father, they will find a way to trick me into doing it themselves.
Let's be real, Josh. You're not that big of a person.
That I did.
And that's the thing, is that at the very least, though, it's more regulation. The problem is that ultimately with any regulation is it's hard. How do you regulate fairly? From one case to the next. Yeah. When is it too much regulation? What's not enough? What is oppression? What infringes on freedom of speech? All of these things. have their issues, and ultimately, it does go back to the freedom of speech of like, well, I have freedom of speech, so technically I can say whatever is my opinion, but then like, well, where does it where does it cross where it's harassment or where it's illegal and things like that. So that's ultimately the problem. But why I was saying, like, if you just get rid of social media, you take away that choice. Like, I don't want to tell you can't use Facebook or you can't use Twitter, but if those things didn't exist, you wouldn't have that choice to make anyway.
Yeah, but you're talking about going back in time. You're not talking because if tomorrow those things didn't exist and it was because Jack told me I couldn't have it because I wasn't responsible enough to handle this kind of power, then I'd be like, well, fuck this guy. He doesn't even know me personally. Like, yes, I can understand that there may be 80% of the people using Facebook right now that are twats and doing stupid stuff with it, but he doesn't know me as a person. And why is he able to tell me that I can't do this stuff? That's how I feel.
That's the thing, is that
we can go back in time and erase Zuckerberg forever, making this stuff happen. I agree. I think that probably would have been a good idea because we were not meant to handle
back to the Facebook.
Yes, exactly. Like we just weren't prepared to handle this kind of power.
But we're never prepared. We're never prepared to handle the amount of responsibility that we're given with any new technology. It's just it's given, and then we want to see how far we can go and how far we can take it.
But that's why the human exists in the kind of way that it does, where we have to, like I said, if you can't beat them, you join them. But it's not just join, follow along, and just like completely go limp and go with the flow, but it's like we can try doing our best to help sway things in the way that we want, and I mean, hopefully with this podcast we're able to do a little bit of that. We're able to enlighten people and hopefully people wise up to this stuff. I mean, I think by the way that things are going, with suicide rates going up, with cyberbullying and depression rates and divorces going through the roof and all these different things that we're seeing as a factor of social media, like
what's going to happen is tomorrow we're going to end up number one trending on Twitter. We're going to have 35 million views, and we're going to be the three guys who don't believe in privacy and human rights. That's what's going to happen.
No, because I don't want to sound like that kind of caveman. Like I said, like I understand that technology.
But we don't,
has
Josh. That's what I'm trying to say. We don't sound like that. But that's the power of social media.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
A person can say one thing. They don't even have to.
Somebody will just take it out of context and just take the part where you said, Luch said that I at one time I made a joke and said that N-word, and then that was that.
And then that's
like, that's all they'll clip. And then that's all that they'll clip, and then it'll be just
Jack says the N-word.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, Jesus.
And it's like, I mean, ultimately, I'm not, and that's the thing, I'm not even trying to suppress. Like, I'm just saying that if they just don't exist, the people just don't have that option. Tomorrow, if Facebook and Instagram just cease to exist, everybody would wonder why. Everybody would be like, what happened? And then in 6 months, new stuff would probably pop up. But the point is that people would get over it. And then they'd find another way to do what they were doing. Like, oh, you need to know what Aunt Ethel's doing, with her time. You're going to call Aunt Ethel and find out what she's doing. You're going to it's the things that matter. You will still take the time to do.
Yeah.
We just use all this social media because it's easy, because it's convenient, because we can get all of this information all at once, super fast. And at the end of the day, it's just too much. It's too much information. And there's no gate, there's no gateway, and there's no regulation. That's
what I'm saying. So think about this. If instead of just going, because you're one person, so you look at something like Facebook, as massive as it is, and go, oh my God, that's a shit show, pull the plug. Whereas Facebook as a whole, they make enough money as a company that they could go, we're going to hire a staff of 100,000 people to run our security team. If we see people contacting minors, if we see people cyberbullying, if we see people, trying to sign up under the age of 18, that we're going to put a stop to that kind of stuff and start regulating these things. That could clean up Facebook so fast. I mean, it wouldn't perfect it. There's still always going to be loopholes in these systems. Just there always is. But at the same time, there are so many people, like I said, that are using these kind of things in good ways. Like I said, with me, I'm a crappy human being. I have a lot of relatives that I would never call. If you took away Facebook tomorrow, I'd probably still wouldn't call them the rest of this year. But at the same time, I like being able to see them on Facebook. I like being able to see when they post pictures of them and their kids at their ball games and stuff like that. I like that kind of stuff. I like feeling that connection to them, because I haven't done that stuff in the past. I haven't taken the time to do that, and I'm trying to make that change towards it. And Facebook really, it gives me a super easy avenue to be able to do that stuff, to make those first steps on connecting with people that I don't know, or I mean, not don't know, but just I haven't been able to reach out to. That with like what Luch is saying, if they boosted up their security and they really were like, no, we're not tolerating this kind of stuff. You want to act that way, boom, you're off our site. But that would mean them taking a stance. But instead of pulling the plug on everything, that they go, no, this is what we're not going to tolerate. If you want to act like a twat, get off our site. This right here is, we're going to show that this is what the human race can be at its best. When we're promoting good things, when we're having GoFundMe,
but
to
again,
help get Critical Role its animated series, and it breaks the barrier in one freaking day, like 3 hours. I think that they hit their goal on what they wanted to hit. Or the Ice Bucket Challenge that was raising money for ALS awareness.
Yes.
Yeah. There's so many different things like that can be good, that if social media pushed in that direction, could be a super powerful force to tackle some major monsters. The problem is that there's so many actual literal monsters running around on there that are just getting away scot-free with no repercussions whatsoever. And that's the kind of stuff that can't go on going forward.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I agree. I just think that I just lean more on the heavy hand.
I feel your frustration.
Yeah.
Trust me. Like I said, I spend 15 minutes on it and I want to go drown myself in my own tub. I understand what you're saying. I do. I
think in the moral of the story, and I think the ultimate conclusion that I think that I can come to, and you might not agree, is that unfortunately, because I feel like the goods that come out of social media can still be attained through other means, the bads and the harmful things that are about it and that come out of it heavily outweigh the goods. You know what I mean? Like the connecting, the causes, the friends, all friendship, all of that stuff can happen without it. It did happen. It's happened for hundreds of years. We survived without it. We flourished without it. And I think that we were nicer people without it.
I don't think that you could say that it promotes the evil more than it promotes the good. I think that you have to say that it does both evenly. I would say that the people themselves may promote the evil more than the good, but I think that
that's the thing, is that it's an enabler.
It is.
It's an enabler.
It's an enabler. So it would enable me to do good to as big as extent as it should be able to let me do evil. I don't think so, and I really don't think so. I think that the because it's so easy to do bad, to do harm, to say something nasty, to be a bad, just to be a bad person, a bad influence, or just to whether it's committing crime, whatever it might be. I think because it's easier to do that, it enables more harm than it enables good. Like I said, it takes effort to do good in real life. If you're a good person, it's going to take effort in real life as much as it will take effort, to say something nice on social media. However, if you're a bad person, again, real life has real life consequences. So it's super easy for me to be hateful online, but it's not as easy to be that way in real life, because the second I'm rude to somebody and the second I'm rude and hateful to the wrong person, you're going to see me on the 6 o'clock news on a stretcher, right? Like there was an altercation at the local Sprint store today as the LG rep said some off-color things to one of the reps and got laid out. That's the reality of it. That's what happens, you know? So it's harder to be a hateful person, don't get me wrong. Plenty of people still do it every day, but it's harder to do that in real life than it is to do it online.
And I think that's ultimately why I feel like I lean more towards it does more harm than good.
Yeah. Shit.
Couldn't have said it better, Jack.
You got a good argument, man. Like I said, my only debate with you would be my big stance for fuck whoever is telling me what to do. I don't want anyone ever telling me that I can or can't do something because of the way that someone else behaved.
I guess another way to look at it too, even with that, is what if I said, yeah, you can use Facebook as much as you want, but nobody can see what you post. You can use it. You can post your stuff. You can post pictures and tweets and videos, but nobody can see it. It's just for you.
Well, then you're talking about me having a hard drive. That's very different than me using social media.
That's my point.
I have external hard drives for that reason. I have lots.
Yeah, you post it online, but you're posting it up on your own page. But the only person that can view it is you.
Yeah.
And so, in order for you to show somebody, you have to pull up your page and show it off. You don't use it.
You're talking about me having to physically mail floppy disk to relatives and go, here's pictures of my children.
That's what we used to do. We used to print them off and send them.
And then we evolved into creatures that learned how to use the internet.
Yeah, we evolved into creatures that send dick pics instead.
Yeah, because people
would never do that. You would never do that. You would never print one off and send them to your girlfriend in the mail. In 3 to 5 business days, check your mailbox.
Right, because this shit is going to be hot.
Come on. It ain't happening.
No, you know because people didn't think about it. Because I swear to God, the first person when they got a cell phone, they were like, oh my God, I have the greatest idea. Wait, just think about this for a second. This is amazing. Like, oh my goodness.
No, I don't think so. I think it's pretty clear. I think it's pretty obvious that society functioned and did everything that we can do positively and negatively without social media. And the only thing it does is it enables us to do worse.
Yeah, and I'm totally going to mail a picture of my dick to Luch. Luch, send me your address when we get off this thing.
Get out of here.
You're going to get like a month and a half from now. I go, what? I got a letter from Josh.
He's going to completely forget about this too, and he's just going to open it up and be like, oh my God. What is this?
Secretly
I reported you to the post office, motherfucker.
Oh no, I'm going to keep that. And you know what I'm going to do with it? I'm going to Photoshop it and make it super tiny and then post it on Facebook.
And then put it on social media and show the harm that can be done.
Yeah. Oh, I love it.
So funny. It's so funny. Anyways, I think that wraps up the debate. And I think that we can come to the conclusion, despite Josh's best efforts to thwart.
To try. He tried. It didn't work. He tried
but failed. I think I'm of the influence that social media is bad. And with that being said, please don't forget.
Wait, Jack, you forgot to mention. So we'll be the Kickstarter will be starting soon for Bonus Level Media. It's a new social media site. It allows you complete freedom to post whatever you'd like. However, there is going to be a $20 paywall for any post.
Every post.
Yeah.
No, I think that like I said, with that being said, please follow us on Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, all of the social media sites. Please follow us on all of them because, like Josh said, if you can't beat them, join them.
Yeah, try to do some.
We will bring down social media.
I don't know.
No, I think that ultimately, I think the challenge is to, it's not going anywhere. It's not going away. So you do have a circle of influence. You do have people that you see. So meter what you are taking in and also regulate what you're putting out for yourself. And, if every person did that, we could do away with a lot of bad stuff, Yeah,
I think it was what was it? The phrase that we coined last week that the change starts with you.
Mm-hmm. I don't think we coined that.
No, I'm pretty sure that we did.
We used it.
But
we were the first people to ever use that.
First person. Sure. I think it was Luch that said that, and we were just like, man, that was great. We should get everyone saying that,
Be the change that you want to see in the world.
Yeah. Oh, that even sounded better than what I said.
I'm pretty smart. I don't think I said that, but I'll take.
Yeah, I think we'll give you credit for it. Anyway, I think the final boss here is mailing a dick pic in a letter
Get ready.
And if anybody does that, please let us know, because that's just the worst idea ever.
Yeah, Luch.
The only thing is, I would want Luch's video reaction of him opening the picture. If I don't get to see it, that's gonna make
On
me
TikTok.
so sad.
Please do it and put it on TikTok.
Yo, Luch, are you guys like doing like social media?
Oh, okay. Later, taters.
And that about wraps it up. Yeah, we're just gonna leave. We're gonna
Follow me at your Chet. It's Chet.
Here's Chet. Okay. Anyways, that does wrap up level 24 of the Bonus Level Podcast. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. You can catch us again on Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. Also streaming on iTunes, Google Play, SoundCloud, and soon to be Spotify. But from all of us here, we hope you have a great week.
Later, taters.
Laters, taters. There's 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 taters.